What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well today. I know it's cloudy outside and it hasn't stopped raining in probably, I don't know, I'd say 2.5 days maybe. We're looking at some heavy duty rain coming through. Yeah, you're talking about raining cats and dogs for 40 days and 40 nights. But today, I know today's a perfect day just to go through some of my old stuff that I found through all my explorations in nature. All my stuff, you know. Through exploring through the creeks and deep in the woods. You're looking at probably about maybe, you're probably looking at close to, I'd say 5 years of exploration collections. That's all this is. But some of this stuff is more significant than you think. But I'm going to give you a disclaimer right now. Don't get too excited. Leonardo style is going to tell you. All this stuff is worth nothing. Altogether, you know, the stuff behind me on the right, we'll cover in a little bit. But we're going to go over this right quick. You know, it's not going to take too long. But yeah, you know, I'm a jack of all trades. I already told you I love a lot of things. So you're probably going to just conclude that what I have around me is just nothing but a bunch of garbage. But you have the right to think that. You have the absolute right to, you know, form your own opinion about what I collect. But see, I'm a man who studies everything. I'm a man of many interests. So when I see something that interests me, that I don't understand, and I want to gather a deeper understanding about it, you know, I'm going to collect it. Like this little pile here. If I was around a lake or an ocean or something and I saw these, I wouldn't collect them. But why did I collect these? Tell me. Why? What's so special about these? This one weighs a ton. No, it's not gold. But these seashells here, why are these so interesting to me? Why? Because I found these high up on hills where they don't belong. Probably could be a few million years old. Probably more than that. Who knows? Some of these are as smooth as glass, like this one. Absolutely incredible. I love this hobby. I do. It's a good hobby. But this whole collection around me is probably one of my, I don't know, 25 to 30 hobbies. Look at that natural piece of art. That's a masterpiece, if you ask me. Look at that. Probably a few thousand years old. Kind of high up on a hill. I try to be careful with some of this stuff. High up on a hill where it doesn't belong. Who knows where it came from? Maybe natives collected this or something. Most of these are natural. But these little babies here, I like collecting these just because. They're young, no more than a few years old. But I love touching something because it's nature. Look at that, it's like the golden ratio. That's why I collect these. I only collect a few. I've had many before this, but some of these can get smashed quite easily if you don't watch them. But I love collecting the ones that are absolutely intact. Perfect. You got your other section here. Got your turtle shells. Solidified, almost like plastic. Quite nice. Got your bone collection here. I have a lot more than this. They're in storage though. But these are the most interesting for some reason. This one, it's starting to turn to stone. It weighs a ton. It's really dense. And it feels like it's got, you know, something going on with it, like it's turning to stone or something. It's got that consistency. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what kind of animal. You'll never be able to tell. Look at that. With, you know, some studying, I'm sure I can figure it out. But I like this one. This one is my favorite. Why do I like this one so much? Look at it. It's perfect. Nature at its best, creating artwork. Absolutely incredible. It looks like a wedding band, if you ask me. A Leonardo style wedding band. Absolutely perfect. It's just a vertebrae. That's all it is. So like a small animal, small mammal, maybe a baby deer, I'm not sure. But it's absolutely impeccable. Perfect. I hope you like this piece. I gotta be careful with this one, it's really fragile. I can feel the movement on it, how flexible it is in all directions. So I gotta be careful with this one. But up here, you know, we got some strange ones. Got some strange items, unexplainables. I already know what it is though. It's solidified clay, this ice stuff. Impacted over time. Carbon. Carbon, clay, and iron. All comes together. You know, you got your combinations. All the good stuff, you know. And of course you saw this one earlier one time. I got to pressure wash most of the stuff, needs to be pressure washed. Sent through the industrial dishwasher when I buy one. But look at that, it's got those little terminated crystals in it. Looks nice. But you know, you got some typical unexplainables here, like this one here. I thought it was a big old chunk of concrete found up in the woods where there's no house or anything. Look at that. Molded by time is all that is. I like that piece. That's the reason I kept this. It's because it's got that little section right there where the crystals are starting to form. But they're clear. It's not tourmaline. Try to be careful not to scrape it off. I thought it was molten glass in it. You know, you got your conglomerate here. In lake beds and river beds and stuff where the bedrock meets the gravel bars. Yeah, I thought this was cool right here. Sorry if it's a little bit dark. I'm trying to keep up with the lighting, but it's really cloudy out. And I do have lights on, but it's not doing its job. This right here has got green in it. The green crystals. I don't really know. You see the green, you see that. I need to clean it up and try to break it open and see what it is. I don't know if it's citrine or what. But I like the green. That's the reason I kept that. You don't even want to see my quartz collection. I got 50 buckets in the basement. But most of that stuff came from Hog Mine down there in Harris County. So I can make my nightclub fish tanks. But this one right here. This one is an anomaly. I call this my alien rock. Because it looks like it came just from space. I know it's not a meteor. It's pretty soft. I don't know if it's a piece of granite or what. Maybe a piece of dense lava rock. But look how it's got the terminated crystals missing out of it. I thought this was a masterpiece. Look at that. It's quite weird. Very weird if you ask me. But I couldn't, you know, find out what it could have been. It still has some things in there. A little bit of the quartz left in there. But it just falls out. When I saw this in the creek, I was like, I had to have it. But you know, you got your typical paper, I call them paperweights because they weigh as light as a piece of paper. You know, your typical lava rock, your molten stuff that weighs nothing. But I found these in areas where they don't belong, like on hillsides and stuff, nowhere near neighborhoods. So that's the reason I kept them, because you can't debunk it as something that just came from somebody's landscaping. But yeah, this is the biggest chunk I ever found. I thought this was smelting at first, but it's not. It's lava rock, and it's pretty solid, but on some sides it's pretty soft. You can see where it can break off really easily, just like that. So it's not smelting. Biggest piece of lava rock, way up on a hillside. Biggest chunk ever found by me, not by anybody else, you know. Strangest thing I ever found. I mean, not the strangest thing, but one of the coolest things I've ever found. We're going to move to the iron section. Here are the iron pieces. Now this iron stuff right here, I don't know where it came from. I mean, I know where it came from, but I keep hoping that it's part of a exploded meteorite or something. But I try to research that. I don't think they do that when they have impact with the Earth. But I found these around mountain regions. excuse my sinuses, mountain regions. I need to slow down my speaking. But this right here is just absolutely incredible. It weighs a ton. All this weighs a ton. And some of it's got the conglomerate going on with it, where it blended with pieces of pebbles and rocks and all. Look at that. Yeah, it weighs a ton on this edge right here. But it's all natural. I know this is natural. When the earth was forming, that's why I kept it. This is my favorite piece of all right here. My favorite piece of all. Look at how the iron just blends in. Look how it just molds with everything else. All the pieces of pebbles. And the sands of time. Perfect. That's going to go in my museum. My home museum when I get one. Here's one that weighs about, I don't know, maybe a pound. And it's tiny, but it weighs a ton. No, it's not a chunk of gold. I wish it was. But look at that red. Perfect. Yes, the iron palm. I just studied this stuff, but this is going to go in my museum. It's going to go in one of my curio cabinets. I've already designed all this stuff, by the way. You know, jack of all trades. Another one, you can kill somebody with this stuff. You can kill anybody with any of this stuff. Really. Here's some pits. That stuff that you buy at Michael's. That, what do you call that stuff? The cheap stuff. This is bits of it. Oh yeah, hematite. Yeah, these are little pieces of hematite. No, that's just the smell thing that came from that pile. But yeah, the hematite. This is the hematite. People say hematite. I say hematite. But that's my hematite pile right here. Probably worth negative 20 cents. It's not worth anything. It's just for my collection of stuff. And you know Leonardo and his wood. Yeah, these are just a few of my collection. A few pieces from my collection I'm going to work on later. Now that I'm out of school, I can work on all this stuff to create the art the way it's supposed to be exhibited, you know? But in my residence. But I like that piece. It needs to be molded down a little bit. It needs to be sanded and stained. All this stuff does. This big piece, yeah, it looks like dinosaur bone, but it's not. No, I kept this piece because I want to cut it up into slivers with my bandsaw. And I want to study the wood grain inside of it. And I want to see if I can give the sheen. I want to see if I can create something out of this when I cut it up in slivers. You know, like the meat cutter Arby's. But yeah, like this. The Waters of Eternity wood. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I absolutely love this kind of stuff. Look at that. I need to clean that piece up right there though. That little section. I gotta clean that up. But look at it. It's a masterpiece. It is an absolute masterpiece created by the Waters of Eternity, sitting in the waters of time. I found this deep in the creek down in Harris County. Nowhere near anything. Because I'm always out searching for the best of what nature has to offer, you know? This was found in the same creek as this one. You probably don't think anything of it. You probably think it's garbage, don't you? But I think the opposite of what you think. Look at that. It needs to be cleaned up just a little bit. And I'm going to stain it. And I'm going to make something out of it. You better believe I am. Same thing with this. I got a bunch of this stuff in a bigger box. These are just what I had available out here. Everything else is in storage. Look at this piece. This one. Look at that. Got the arm. You probably think this stuff is ugly, don't you? You probably think it's ugly. It's not. It's gorgeous. You better change your attitude. Yeah, I like these little spikes. This probably came from a 90-year-old tree. Probably sitting out in the woods. Made its way into the Waters of Eternity. Probably about 300 years ago. I don't know, I'm just kidding. Probably not more than 90 or 100. But then you got your typical, one of my favorite boxes. Yeah, to you it's garbage. But I use it to study. I absolutely love coal. Why do I love coal? Why, people? Why do I love coal? Because coal is ancient. Coal is solidified, compacted plant matter. Millions upon millions of years old. I know, some of this stuff probably came off a rail car or something back in like the 1900s. Look at that piece. Look at that. Looks like obsidian or something. Excuse my sinuses. But look at that. It's beautiful, people. I'm going to try to do something with this stuff. Maybe I'll make something real nice out of it. You know how I can make stuff. You know how I can do that kind of stuff. But where's the biggest piece at? Here it is right here. Check out this big old chunk here. I thought this was a piece of road tar, but it's not. I broke off a piece a couple years ago. Unfortunately, I broke off a piece. It's in here somewhere. But yeah, it's the biggest piece I've ever found. Look at that. You know, you're right. It probably came off a rail car or something. But a lot of stuff I find in the creeks. Look at that perfect piece. Yeah, it's just coal. That's all it is. That's all you're saying. You're shaking your head side to side. Where are the diamonds at, buddy? They're probably in Africa or something. But yeah, here goes the bottles. You're looking at a collection. All this is about 4.5, 5 year collection of just junk I found deep in the woods. Now, you know, I'm a master garbage collector. I am. I clean the rivers. I'll be the best janitor in the world. But yeah, this whole collection right here is probably worth about $10. Yeah, it's worth nothing. It needs to be sent through the dishwasher, but it's going to be my collection. I'm going to have the biggest Kiara cabinets in human history when I get my place. But it's worth nothing. But I love history. I love everything. I already told you that. You know, you got your typical Coke bottles. You got your 1958 Pepsi bottle here. What else do we have here? We got some Royal Cola. Yeah, probably 1960s. Nothing real antique, you know. You probably got a 1980s, early 80s Gatorade bottle right here. Found in the river. You know, that's cool. You know, your mason jar lids. Ball jar. My favorite color. Cobalt blue. Yeah, there's my favorite color. And one of my favorites of all. The Evening in Paris. Now, in my other videos, I kept saying Midnight in Paris. But it's Evening in Paris. Lucite top, probably 1925, 1930. Completely intact. Look at that. Yeah. That's one of my favorite ones of all. Here's another one. Evening in Paris. Talcum powder bottle. I researched this. I knew I saw this in antique stores before. In junk bottle stores on a country road or something. But you know, you got your typical moonshine bottles. Not moonshine, but your typical vodka bottles. Not vodka, but yeah, your typical bottles from like the 1950s, 60s you find deep out in the woods. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, Cobalt, Sky vodka. Here's my anomaly right here. A clear Coke bottle worth probably about maybe $2 to $10, I think I saw. Not worth anything at all, but of course I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. My family's gonna hate me because I'm gonna have just all this random stuff. But that's who I've always been. That's who I've always been. Everything I've ever had, I tried to hide and I buried. For other people to find, you know? Like this bottle, look at this. But I bury in chunks, that's what I do. I would take all this and I would, you know, move from one place to another. And then on my travels, in the middle of a traveling session, I would take this into like a big box or something, and then I would bury it all. Like a time capsule. So somebody finds the big Monty, the what do you want to call it? The full Monty. When they're developing land or something. I don't know. Look at this old Dr. Pepper bottle. I don't know. I didn't research this one. Some of these I didn't even research. I just think they're modern or something. A lot of these are just mid-century modern. You know, your typical Avon bottles and stuff. Yeah, little tiny ones. Art Deco style. No big deal. Here's an old clothes hanger found deep in the woods at a home site. House isn't there, of course, but I found this. I tripped on the wire. Yeah, nothing big, nothing big. You got your little Bo Peep, yeah. Worth about 10 cents maybe. It's worth nothing, you know. Not worth anything. Got some Esquire scuff coat, yeah. Worth about 5 cents. Yeah, I like my lotion bottles. I like that milk glass though. Milk glass, there's something about white. There's something about milk glass. It's like perfect. But I like everything. Here's my broken stuff. You got some, what is this, Payday beverage? Yeah, Payday beverage. Ball from about 1925. Found this in a nice spot. Intact mason jar lids go over here. What am I doing? That's garbage. Oh, the top goes to one of those things. Yeah, broken glass. Typical. This is probably from like the 1800s. Mid 1800s bottle right here. Look how thick that glass is. Yeah, mid 1800s. Yeah, it's mostly garbage. You're right. It is mostly garbage. But I'm going to make a sculpture out of this. I am. Except for that. This needs to be over here. But yeah. All this is garbage. Some of these are from bottles from like the 1800s. Found in creeks. No big deal. I know, don't cut my hands. I researched this, probably from 1940s. Actually, you know what? You're going to kill me. This was a complete bottle. I broke it. That's what these pieces are. I broke it. Look at this. Hand blown. Yep. It's garbage though. It is. But I clean up the creeks and stuff to the best of my own abilities. And I'm going to make art. That's all I do is make art. And make a code is what I do. Make those codes. Now here's the 5 years of China. China, moonshine pottery is what I call it. You know, you got the Crocs. Probably 1840s right here. Probably post-Native American. Look how battered up it is. I'd say early mid-1800s maybe. Same thing here. I don't even know what that is. I have no clue what that is. But yeah, your typical broken stuff, you know. I like collecting the older stuff though, but I collect everything. But what is Leonardo going to do with this, people? What is he going to do with this? I already told you what I was going to do with the pottery stuff. Same thing with the glass. That's going to be melted down. But most of it's going to stay intact. But it's going to be embedded in one another to create something nice. There's nothing like melted glass. It looks really cool if you ask me. There's a piece. What's that doing in here? So what am I going to do with this right here, people? Everything, just like every human being, is special. Every piece right here has its own history. Now, what am I going to do with this? Every piece has its own special geometry, special form, special color. Everything's a natural tone. Yeah, you better believe I'm going to make this gigantic sculpture out of all this stuff. But I got to get more. This isn't enough to do what I want to do. It's going to weigh like 500 pounds when I'm done. But this right here, all this bit, is probably going to take about 5 to 10 years to finish the sculpture. Why is that? Why is using construction epoxy adhesive going to take so long to do all this? Because I'm writing another code. Everything I've always done has been a code. Look at this. Look at that little geometry. See those lines? See those lines? See these lines? See these lines? See that shape? See that form? See that color? It's going to be just like the Mona Lisa. Going to be constructed laying down at first. Yeah, it was constructed laying down at first. That's why it took so long to do, 16 years. So I'm going to make this gigantic frame, and everything's going to be played with. Everything is going to be played with to create a code. So you get the image. So it makes a picture. You don't understand that, do you? You don't understand what I'm talking about. Of course you don't. See that geometry? You just have to play with it. You have to turn it. And whatever is like a puzzle. How things go together. How the light hits the curves. How the light hits something. The tones play with one another. But this sculpture right here is going to be a humongous piece. It's probably going to be 36 by 24. Who knows? But I got to get more pieces. That's the way I've always done things. Look at this one. Ancient as you know what. Handcrafted. Unfortunately, I don't see any fingerprints. That could be one right there. Probably early 1800s. Hope I don't scare you when I talk about stuff like that. But I've always been like that. Everything I've always done has always been, I don't know, unique, I guess you can say. So these two boxes here, no big deal. You know, what I tell you about the Braves Stadium, SunTrust Park, the site. Went out there 2013, I think, early 2013, before they tore down the trees. You know, took down the trees and cleared the site. So I went down there and grabbed a few artifacts. But these were alive. These were green back then. Look what time does to nature, you know. But yeah, you were going to say, dude, it's just stuff out of the woods. You don't care about things the way I do, about history, about the human development. It's for the human race to study later on. It's cool. All this stuff is covered with a humongous development now. I just went there and grabbed some random pieces. This grew on a site where a stadium that's going to be there for the next 60 years. And we're all going to be gone. Look at that. This was from a tree that was growing on the site of SunTrust Park. Put your hands in the clay soils. Yeah. The clay dirt from the site of SunTrust Park. Yeah. I know. You're thinking I'm wild. I am like that. I got a bucket of dirt. Yeah, I have a bucket of dirt. So what? But that's interesting. You probably don't think so, but that's alright. Okay, we got this box. Same thing. Yeah, I went out there with 3 Home Depot buckets. 3 o'clock in the morning to get all this stuff. Way before they put up the fences. You're talking about like 6 months before they put up the fences. But yeah, you know, you got your clay, your white clay stuff. You got that kind of stuff, the solidified granite forming from the clay. Whatever you call the white stuff, I forgot what you call it. Kyanite or something? I know what they call it. It's mined here in Georgia. Out there in southeast Georgia. Kaolinite or something. I can't say it right now on my sinuses. But yeah, you know, all these rocks. All these rock pieces. Look at that. That's got a terminated crystal in it. From the side of SunTrust Park. Look at that. Geology at its best. Telling us a story. Yeah, all this granite came from the side of SunTrust Park. All aluminum. Looks like it was burned up too. Yeah, I'm going to make a sculpture out of that one. Tell a story. You know how I do my art. We live in a modern time. Look at that. That was part of an engine. Part of the engine. Of something. Yeah, look at that. It's a piece of art. Yep. But everything tells a story. It does. A story of life. A story of everything. Let's move on to our other metal pile here. Yeah, look at that. Typical iron found deep in the woods. That's all I do. A lot of it comes out of the creeks. Look at this one. Metal pot. Could be early 1800s. Could be early 1900s. Could be 1790. Oh yeah. I know it's garbage, people. You're right. I already told you this before at the very beginning of the video. Everything here is worth what? Everything here is worth what? Oh, it's a perfect triangle. What am I doing? Goes into the perfect triangle section. Oh, light bulb. Yeah. But everything here is worth absolutely zilch. I mean, it's scrap metal. Probably get 9 cents for that new recycling stuff. But a lot of this stuff can be historic if you think about it. You know, you got this, could be an axe head. Could be a Native American axe head from like right before the Americans came and took their land or something. Right when they knew about how to, you know, trade for metal, trade for iron and stuff. I don't know what this is. That could have been what it is. I don't know. You know, you got your smelting, no big deal. You got your nails. You got your square nails. I already know the ages of these. Your hammer nails. Yeah. Look at that nice door handle from like the 1950s, I think. 1940s, I think. Found in the creek. Found an old plow. Yep. You don't want to see my other plows. They're in storage. One date's from about 1830. Humongous hunker. You know, got this axe head that I found in a tree base. Yeah. Probably from, I don't know, probably about 90 years old maybe. Not that old if you think about it. I like the ancient stuff. I get jealous when I see stories about some hiker out there in Norway or something and tripping on some ancient sword from like, I don't know, the ancient times or something. Look at that. Looks like it's older than Jesus. I like this piece here. It's probably just an ancient nail, you know, probably 1800s, but it could be a lot older. Who knows? It could be from the late 1700s. I do not know. You can never test, you can never tell with metal. You can't. Even with strict research, you can never find out what this really was. Almost impossible. Looks like a napped arrowhead, doesn't it? Look at that. You know, your typical pottery barn, not pottery barn, but your typical Cracker Barrel stuff you find hanging in Cracker Barrel. You know, like those old junk stores on the side of a country road. That's cool. They like this. This would sell big dollar if for high dollar for those. You know, I'm gonna have a country cabin out by a lake or something, deep out in the woods. I am, and that's where this stuff is going. That's where this stuff is going. You know, you got this old tool, 1940s, 1950s. This old wrench weighs a ton. There go the police going down the road. Yeah, no, look, it's copper. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there he goes, as slow as he can to mess up the video, mess up the audio. I don't know what this is. This looks like some kind of ancient measuring device. I already know. Yes, I think it's for woodworking or something. But you know, it could be also an edge of a bucket piece. You know, like the edge of a handle or something. I don't know. I found that in a creek or something. Yeah, you found this in a creek. It's a piece of aluminum. I think a smashed Christmas decoration. Who knows? I don't know. It's like a nasty crab or a spider. Probably a garden device or something. I don't know. I know you want to know what this is right here. I know you want to know what this is. This is a very awesome item. It's an exploded oxygen tank. I found this on the side of a road in the woods down by 285 where they had that big truck fire back in like 2016 where oxygen canisters were exploding. When the truck caught fire, the brakes caught fire. But I have a humongous, awesome artifact here that tells a story. The power of explosion. Look at that. You know how much pressure and how much heat it takes to explode an oxygen tank? You're looking at it. This could kill probably 10 people at one time exploding. What a terrible thought. But luckily nobody got killed. You know, you got these nice looking things here. They're going to be cleaned up. Garage items. That's all it is. It belongs in a shed. After it's cleaned up nicely. No, I'm not going to paint over it. But they're just jars that you put nails and screws and stuff in. And I know you guys want to get excited about this. Yeah, more creek finds right here. This is more of like the intricate stuff, I should say. But yeah, just get a load of this. It's nothing too big. Everything here is worth nothing. Except the pennies here. So you know you got your typical pennies. That penny's from 1936. That's a 1936 penny right here. Yep, you can't see the date on it though. I mean, I can, you can't because of the focus. You can't get it close enough. 1936. Everything else is modern, no big deal. But you know, you got your knives. This is the newest one. I mean, the best one. It's sharp as a razor blade. Yeah, but it's just random stuff. I don't even know what this stuff is here. I know you like the rubber ducky, don't you? Yeah, we got some silverware. It's corroded away, probably 1920s, 1930s. I researched the pattern. It was like 1930s, I think. And here's a very puzzling piece right here. This is very puzzling to me. It's very lightweight. I don't know if this possibly could be. What I'm saying is a big shot in the dark. But I found this way up on a hillside, deep out in the woods, where there was no neighborhoods or anything, nothing at all. And I found this deep out in the woods, where no human probably would have been. Modern human, I guess. And it's a paintbrush. Why would this be deep out in the woods? I know, I'm a rational man. It's either one of three things. Either a tornado picked this up from some house 10 miles down the road and just ended up there. It's light, it's really light. But it also could be Native American. I don't know. I have no clue. If it was, it's probably a modern Native American. Probably 1820s, 1830s, even if it is, but it probably isn't. It's probably nothing at all. Probably just a paintbrush that just ended up in the woods. Probably Samantha with her boyfriend out there hiking through the woods and she forgot something was in her backpack back in the 1950s. And that's it. That's all that is. You know, the typical fork. All this stuff is found in the creeks. A lot of it's found in the creeks. Motorcycle handlebar, brake bar, hand grip. You got your bullets. You know, I don't like these bullets. I don't like violence because they're used for hunting. Well, they're used for killing people too, but you know. Yep, old knives and stuff. I know you're dying to see the jewelry, aren't you? It's not worth anything. It's not worth anything at all. I know you like a teddy bear. I like the teddy bear too. He's cute. But these are not real diamonds. These are not real diamonds. They're as fake as you know what. But yeah. Just a lot of old garbage. That's all it is. But it's interesting because you find these cool things just in creeks. Even though people just pass by. But these are found deep out in the woods. In the creeks. Now I got some ancient buttons here. You know. No, it wasn't found at Kennesaw Mountain. This was found on the banks of the Chattahoochee. In a very crowded location. Sandy Springs. Yeah. But some of these are ancient as you know what. There's a couple of them that are like this one here. This one's probably late 1700s, early 1800s right here. Yeah. Absolutely wild. I found more buttons than anything else. Yeah. Got this too. Found a sunglass case. I know you're laughing at this right here. Look at that one. Probably from the 1930s, 1940s. Electrical outlet. No, it's actually later than that, probably 1960s. It's got the double prong. It's got the extra large one on the side over there. Real nice. Well, actually, it's not real nice, you know. But I got the best arrowhead I've ever found right here. The sharpest one ever that I've ever found. Yeah, it's your real arrowhead right there. Modern one. You know, typical metal camping stuff from probably 1950s, 1960s. No, it's not Civil War era. Where'd you get that from? I found this somewhere up in Gwinnett County. Just sitting there. On top of the leaves. It wasn't even under the ground. But yeah, you got your 1949 license plate. Look, it's split in half. 1949. Look how corroded that thing is. No, it's not going to be framed. It's a garbage. But it's very deep history is what it is. Everything is. You know, maybe I can put it on this. But check this out. Yeah, we got some keys here. Somebody lost their keys. Better call Rufus. Come get his keys. But look at this. A late 1800s shoe. Late 1800s probably. I researched it and looked at the pattern. I don't know if it's men's or women's. I can't remember. But I looked at that pattern. Probably 1890, 1880 or something like that. I forgot what it said. No, there's no Black Widow in there. But here's one that I found the other day. A box. Floating in the Etowah River. And I thought it was going to be my miracle. I was like, you know, this thing feels, feels heavy. I didn't film it because it was like 9:05 and it was pitch black outside. And I was picking up garbage out of the river. And I saw this weird looking thing floating in the river and it was just like bobbing like this. And I could barely see it. I just saw the outline. There was just enough of that white sky left, you know. And it was just pouring down rain outside. And it's filled with water. But it rattled. You guys want to know what's in it? I already know what's in it. No, it's not money. It's a tackle box. A little small one. It's got a whole bunch of these bad boys in it. Yeah, it's still wet from the other day. Yeah, it's got all these fishing lures inside of it. Gotta be careful not to... Yeah, it's got a bunch of these in it. It's not worth anything. You know? How am I going to find the rightful owner? Yeah, but it's modern. You know? Nothing big. They need to be cleaned up. I'm going to clean them up and keep a few of them. But I think that's cool. Look at that. Just modern stuff found in the river. Floating in the river. Still wet. Because it was just the other day when I found it. Everything is a memento of our travels. It's not about collecting garbage. In a way it is. But every little thing has a history. I've always loved history. Always will. You want to see the marbles? I know. You looked at that, didn't you? You want to see the marbles. Yeah, I found that. All this stuff's out of the creek. Not all of it, but I'd say 80% of these are out of the creek. Some of them were found on land, of course. A lot of these are battered from hell and back. Some of them are flawless. Yep, there go the marbles. Small ones and big ones all together. Some kind of weird ping pong ball or something. That's exactly what that is. It's jade color. One of my favorite colors of all. But yeah, everything's part of a story. Everything has its own history. And that's some of the history I'm definitely going to keep right there. Yeah. But I hope you liked the little run through of all the garbage I've found in the past 4 or 5 years, just walking in the woods and walking through the creeks and waters of eternity. A bunch of cool finds. I know it's nothing, but I'm interested in everything. You already know that. So you know how I do things. I'm going to collect everything you can imagine. But I'm not going to keep it all. It's just going to be studied. And a lot of stuff I'm just going to bury again. I'll take it out. I'll take it out and take it right back out into nature. And some things are going to be buried. You know, like I used to bury things in the past. Even some of my belongings I bury. Like I'll take a pile of my t-shirts and put them in like a waterproof container and buried it deep out in the woods. So 500 and 1,000 years later, somebody develops land or something, and they find a waterproof box with t-shirts in it. Maybe some of my art supplies, who knows? I'll bury anything possible as a time capsule for the human race to find. But yeah, I hope you like this video. My little run through. This is about 5.5 years of junk. But it's just cool to look at. It is. It's cool to understand things and study it. Think about where it came from and where it's headed. Everything that has to do with it. Everything. But my favorite one of all are these things here. I'm proud of the glass. But I hope you guys like the video. I gotta get started on this stuff really soon anyway, so I can get these sculptures made to write a new code. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.